I'm Courtney.
And I'm Emily, and this is
Cheers to that. We just had a
technical difficulty.
But a God moment, should I say?
No, literally.
That was wild.
Divine intervention has struck at the Cheers to That studio, aka my bedroom, because we moved the computer
Just
to
by
a different
chance,
spot than it usually is, because usually we can't see the time and we're just guessing, and then we were like, wait, why don't we put the computer here? And our recording app just glitched in front of our eyes, and I was like, wait, why is the computer? And the Courtney's like, what? And if we had kept going and had our computer in our usual spot, we would not have seen.
We would have never known.
We would have recorded it for an hour.
That literally made my heart stop, because this is blood, sweat, and tears here, folks.
Yeah, and by blood, sweat, and tears, we mean talking
and drinking wine.
And sweating, just not because of we're vexed, but just because we have high blood pressure and I'm overweight. Courtney's not anymore. So Courtney's BMI is lower than mine now, so she's probably not sweating, but I am sweating.
Again, blood, sweat, and tears.
Literally. And we do have blood in our bodies. And tears are somewhere deep down. Yours are closer to the surface than mine. This is the cursed episode. Oh my God, that's the title.
The cursed episode.
Actually,
post-Halloween vibes.
Cursed episode, but we've also are going to have a special guest today.
I know, I'm so excited.
So I feel like that maybe bring things in, what? That may be a better title, is to bring people in as to who our guest is, but alternate title, the cursed episode, because so
it's
far, spooky here in the Cheers to That community.
It's Friday. Well, I tried to say this the first time and then we glitched, but it's Friday at 8:30 p.m.
I mean, now it's probably 8:40.
We never podcast on a Friday afternoon ever, because we're normally too busy having movie night with our kids.
Literally.
But we are running out of time for the weekend already. It's just a busy, busy weekend, and so
busy.
This is our time to shine. Is this podcasting time, and we just had to, unfortunately, just shush everybody in the living room that is having a great time.
If you hear just a mild chatter in the background,
just think of it as a sound machine.
Yeah, it's a sound machine. Sorry, that was such an aggressive throat clear. Excuse me. My sincerest apologies. Well, if you're tuning in for the first time, this is your weekly podcast where we talk about motherhood, marriage, and laugh at everything in between. So, Courtney, I gotta ask, how you doing?
Oh, you know what? I'm doing great.
This week.
I'm doing great. It was a long week, if I'm being honest. Both of our husbands, like we've said, they work at the same job, so they usually go out of town together. And I try to fill it with play dates and going and doing things, which was really nice. But man, is it hard to have your significant other gone. And I've talked about that before on here, of just, hats off to single moms out there.
Real.
I don't know how they do it, because I joke that I feel like a single mom during the week.
But there's relief coming.
But I know the weekend has relief coming. So I'm good now, because Matt is back home.
I go into such a different mode, though, when Connor's out of town. I am lazier when he's here, because I can depend on him more. And I feel so guilty, because I feel like I should be better about not being so lazy and relying on him to do things, because when he's gone, it's not like he's gone on a business trip eating bonbons. He's working his ass off. And when he's gone, it's I do the dishes, I do the laundry, I do and then he gets home and I'm I can't get off the couch.
Oh no, for sure. I'm Tucker needs something, can you go?
But then I'm okay, well, you do this by yourself, whatever. But I mean, it is equal part. I don't know, I'm rambling. I'm just saying I do muster through it, but it was a long week. And this week, I mean, we both had interims, which if you're not a teacher, that just means kind of midterms, I guess. It's tests or benchmarks. It's tests that the kids take, so we can collect data to see kind of where they're at, especially well, your kids take the STAR too. Yeah. Yes. So in Texas, we have something called a STAR test. It's our state standardized test. I don't even know what it stands for, because I didn't take STAR test. I took tax test.
Yeah. I don't know what. We took some sort of state test, but I don't remember
what was it called
in
Oklahoma.
No, I literally have no idea.
It was called methamphetamine.
It's called noodling.
The state test in Oklahoma was archery.
It was. Literally. Physics
and you
class.
Went to state for it.
Mr. Green.
Shout out. Yeah, no. So anyways, it's preparing our kids for the standardized tests that they take in the spring. So it was just a lot of like monitoring. Like yesterday I was on camera for like 8 hours.
Yeah.
Which is not, I know that sounds like if you work for 8 hours a day, I know you're like, 8 hours, but I'm
working from home hours is
different, but like even when I'm not on camera, like I'm still working at home. And so like being on camera, it just means I can't get anything done but what I'm doing in that moment.
Yeah.
So it's like I've got all this work. Like I found myself picking up my laptop at like 8 o'clock last night because I knew I had stuff to do this morning.
Wow.
And you know I don't do that. But I was like, I have stuff I have to get done in the morning. So like I need to get this done taken care of right now.
For sure.
So yeah, it's been a long week, but it's been an exciting week.
We made it, and now it's like we have plans tomorrow evening. We're gonna go with dear old
dear Auntie Claire, our great auntie.
I accidentally said dear old. She's not old.
She's ancient. Were you gonna say she's geriatric?
No, she's just so much more mature and like with it, and she like has this just
like level of class.
Yeah, like I would never be able to achieve that, and it probably has something to do with my accent.
Oh my god, not the wheeze. Sorry, excuse me.
Maybe yours has something to do with like your heavy breathing.
It's the wheezing. Okay, bitch. Okay, bitch. Yes, you're not wrong.
But I'm very excited. We're gonna go to like a fancy Italian restaurant without the kids.
Yes,
and the best part.
Bless. And the most important thing is that we're going after I go to a funeral.
Yeah, so you're rallying.
The vibe check,
like that's the true rallying.
The vibe check of a Saturday is a rough one.
That's rallying in your 30s.
Well, as I reminded a friend that I saw this week, I saw one of my friends that I waited tables with, which I don't think he or his wife listened to the podcast, but it was one of my best friends in high school. We waited tables together for forever, and I got to see him this week because he asked me to cut his son's hair. And so I'd never met either of his kids. I'd never met his wife, and I got to meet all of them this week. And his daughter, who's I think 7, was talking to me, and my friend Trey was like, Miss Emily and I like waited tables together when we were kids. Like we worked together. I've known her for so long, and it was when we were young. And I said, "Well, just so you know, I'm still young. I'm in my 20s, unlike your dad." And
29.
And Trey was like, "Wow, like way to throw that in there. That feels not necessary." And I'm like, "No.
Everything I say is necessary."
And also, it's a very important disclaimer. You're uncool in your 30s. I am clinging to my youth.
I'm
much like you.
Afraid for the day that I'm in my 40s and you're still in your 30s.
Oh my god, it's gonna be so much worse.
Shit talk me so much.
30s to 40s will just kind of be sad though, because I just feel like you're like one foot in the grave, you know, and like I'll just be so youthful still.
Yeah, like, but you're gonna be pointing that out to me,
obviously.
So
like 20 to 30s feels like funny. It's like hello, you're in your 30s, you're so old, and then 30 to 40, and then let me hit you with 40 to 50. I'm gonna be like, oh god. Let's start planning.
And I'm like, bitch, you're 1 year younger than me.
It feels like a lifetime.
Let me put you in your place. Slap you around a little bit.
I told you
remind you
that my grandma roasted me the other day, which grandma, I love you if you're watching this because she watches our episodes. But she told me the other day, I was on the phone with her, and I'm pretty sure one of her sisters was in the car. And she said something about being almost 30. And I said, whoa, girl. I'm still in my 20s. I'm clinging to those. And she said, you're hanging on to your 20s by the skin of your teeth. And I was like,
by the hairs on your chinny chin.
Literally, I'm like, okay, Cynthia.
Thanks for the reminder.
You got me. Yeah, like, don't you want me to be young?
I've been caught.
Yeah, you're my grandma. So the older I get, the older you get. So like, can't we just collectively stay?
No, but do you feel like this? And I've actually seen this on TikTok, so I feel like it's a shared experience. But at some point, my grandma stopped aging for me. And so I've had people
52.
ask me, how old is she? And I say 56. And one time it was my kickboxing instructor. He gives a look. He's like, the math is not adding up.
He asked you how old your grandma was, and you were 25 at the time.
I said
you said your grandma was 56.
And like somehow I've missed 20 plus years. I don't understand.
No, I remember you calling me and telling me that, and then like kind of arguing with me about what her actual age is, because then you gave her like 10 more years. And I was like, Courtney, no.
Yeah, it turns out I had no idea how old she actually was.
2 more decades. Yeah, my grandma in my mind, we talk about this a lot. My grandma in my mind is 52. And she says in her mind she's 32, which is so funny to me because 32 sounds old. but I'm closer to 32 than I am to
32
21. I'm closer to 32 than I am to 25, but my brain can't register that. Like, I've talked about it on the podcast before. I feel like a teen mom. Like, when I walk through,
we are.
No, literally, when I walk through the grocery store, I'm like, don't feel sorry for me. Like, guys, don't worry.
No, literally, whenever I'm buying wine and the kids are with me, and I'm like, they're literally going to card me and be like, oh, she's 21 with kids.
They don't even card me anymore. I'm like,
I think now they see my forehead wrinkles and they're like, nah, girl, you
like,
good. You good.
You need Botox. And also, I can tell these kids are yours. I'm like,
I'm just their baby. You should just like for the fun of it, go to Kroger, like play it off of like, oh, I'm just their babysitter. like I'm their nanny.
To no one.
I'm their nanny.
Literally no one asks. And I'm like, I just want you guys to know.
I'm their
nanny. But I don't know why I'm saying guys, because I have one kid and he looks like me. So like he makes my facial expressions. We have enough of a resemblance. Like, he's my kid.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
there's
excuse me, nanny. I know with this body you're thinking childbearing. Actually, nanny.
I'm a really hard teen worker.
Algebra is so hard.
They're like, get the fuck out of here, you weirdo.
You were born in the 90s. Get out.
I can tell by the way you dress. I know. You were born in the 90s.
It's hard to reconcile the truth. Well, in exciting news, I bought a car today. Well, I didn't actually buy a car. I leased a car today, which I've never done before.
Which is the best financial decision you could have made, because you go through cars like Pez Candy, and like, why not just lease a car? It makes so much more sense for you guys.
I know. Leasing scares me because it feels like a rent car. Like, it feels like a car you get from Enterprise Rent-A-Car where you like can't like breathe in it.
When I said it's a rental car, it's just because it's like
explained.
Well, it's like a house. Like you can rent to own if you want. With a lease, you can rent to own.
Rent to own is a good way to put it, because you like pay, like with a lease, you pay a monthly amount, and then you can buy it at the end if you want, or you can move on. So like I have a 2-year contract, and just so everyone knows, because I just want to share that I'm saving the world.
I was about to say, out of all the people in this world.
It's so funny.
Out of all the people.
I was doing hair earlier, and I told my client I got an electric car, and she was my teacher in middle school. So she was like, oh, are you like really environmentally conscious?
Like,
and I was
did you move to Austin all of a sudden?
No, I'm not.
You just like the way that it looks.
I like the way it looks. So
it's a really nice car, but
so much.
It was like out of everyone that I know.
No, seriously. So I
have an electric car.
Rivian RS1.
Yeah.
R1S. I always say it wrong. I always call it TS1, which is like tiered.
All I know is it feels like I'm driving a spaceship.
It's literally a spaceship. Courtney, I let her drive it today, and Connor almost didn't let her drive it.
He literally the whole time was like, "Don't hit a curb." I mean, he wasn't being that rude, but like he did say that once.
Close. The thing about Connor is he doesn't have to say it. You can see it in his eyes that he.
I saw that was the first thing he told
me when I got in the car to leave the like mini dealership situation we were at, because Rivian is like a smaller company. It's like a rival of Tesla. So
he shopped small too.
Yeah, not a big deal. Just supporting local businesses. I don't want to brag, but I am environmentally friendly and small business friendly. But
the new Leaf lady.
Yeah, but it is like it's weird. It's not a dealership. They order your car and then it gets delivered. So like we ordered it last Saturday. Yeah, we ordered it last Saturday, and we got to pick it up today. And we go. I don't even know where I was going with this. What was I talking? Oh. So we go to leave because Connor had my old car, my Expedition, and the first thing Connor said to me was, "Hey, don't curb your wheels." And I was like, all right, bitch, like I literally haven't
know how to drive the car.
I also haven't shifted into drive yet. So can you calm down? But I was very conscious, and the steering's really tight in that boy. It's like a little race car. So if you've never seen,
just real tight.
It's Rivian R1S. It's like the SUV. But it's electric, and I think they look cooler than Teslas, honestly.
And it has a frunk, as you've named it.
Front.
Is that a like world-renowned word, or did you come up with that word?
I heard that from someone. I did not I would love to take credit for frunk, because I enjoy saying it so much.
Yeah.
Because it's simple enough that people get it when I say it, but I do see a light bulb moment, and it ignites a joy.
It's just like your Flagstone.
My Flagstone.
Your Flagstone.
Yeah, my frunk is my front trunk, because, fun fact, it's electric. It doesn't have a motor. Like, it doesn't have this big engine.
So you can store those Kroger groceries in there.
I can put a duffel bag in my frunk.
Yeah.
I also have a deep trunk.
Oh.
Can't wait to see the YouTube comments. feet and front. But
the ones you have to delete.
Yep. But yeah, so that was an exciting Friday, but I just I needed to, let you guys know that I am an environmentalist. I am saving the world. I am a superhero. I will be taking your acknowledgments.
The way she was able to do this is because of all the money we're making off the podcast.
Yes, I paid cash for a 2025. Shut up about the lease. No, shut up. Shh.
You're like 1 month. Okay,
you're ruining the illusion.
Okay, I got it. We're role playing. I forgot.
I paid cash. I'm sure you're really fun to do this with Matt. I paid cash for a 2025 Rivian SUV.
All off of?
From the podcast money. And by that, I mean I signed a lease today and I'm paying monthly for it, and I will give it back in 2 years. And I've also made no money off this podcast. Thank you.
That was the disclaimer. It's like whenever it's medications that come up and it's like, this might kill you. This might give you a heart attack. This might give you a brain tumor. like,
and it's just me saying I'm a broke bitch. It's me saying I'm still in the negative on the podcast. You were trying to advocate for buying another microphone, and I was like, no, because we are having a guest. So we were like, we really do need another mic, because that's been our big dilemma with having guests. There's so many people we want to have on, our friends and other people we know and look up to or talk to or whatever.
But
the logistics of getting a mic and then connecting it to our sound thing, we don't.
Well, and here's something I have to say, because
please.
Someone suggested, you guys need a middle table on our YouTube comments. I'm looking at you because I know you're watching our videos. And
you creepy bitch.
And Emily goes, we have a middle table.
LOL. We have
but my point of this is no one's offering to buy us a middle table because he wanted us to prop up our feet. No one's buying the table.
Yeah, where's the money for the set?
No one's buying the extra microphone. So who's it left on to run this business?
Pony up, foot fetishers. Pony up. Put your money where your mouth is if you want feet pics.
Oh.
I mean.
Hey. We're still going to be wearing socks, though, bitches.
I also just want to put a disclaimer if this feels especially unhinged. Courtney and I have also already had a glass of wine before we started. So it's
sorry, Carol.
No, what? Carol doesn't like it when you drink?
No, just because I feel like I come a little bit more unfiltered, and I know she's listening,
Carol.
And she's like my grandma. She was totally fine.
I know, Carol listens to me talk, and I'm unfiltered with no wine. So,
yeah,
Carol, close your ears.
She's fine. She's fine.
It's a special unhinged episode because we don't do this. We really haven't been drinking wine on the podcast at all. And it's so funny to think about where we started.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been sober.
Well, I think when we first started, it's we kind of had wine because I was a little nervous, honestly.
I was not a little nervous. I was a lot nervous.
And so we would do that to relax and be funny. And then one time we didn't drink and we realized we're still funny without alcohol.
And also I think we realized, again, apologies, we're more literate and coherent and actually we're funnier, I think, sober. But I mean, maybe, I don't know. I think it ebbs and flows. I feel like we're having fun, and this is our podcast. This is our show.
We get to make it what we want.
We can do whatever we want, and we don't GAF.
Which leads me to something I've been dying to talk about all day with you. And I texted you about it this morning. And this goes into reading, watching, and listening. So I've been reading a little bit this week, watching nothing because I've been so busy. But I listened to the BFFs podcast episode.
I didn't listen to
about Brianna Chicken Leg and
Chicken Fry.
No, I know it is. You called her Chicken Leg the last time.
What's a chicken fry? You started a chicken leg.
Well, now I'm just going to stick with it. So
I support it.
Brianna Chicken Leg and Zach Bryan.
And she don't know who these peoples are. Zach Bryan is a country singer who, honestly, we need to know less about artists we enjoy because this is happening with this happened with Chappell Roan. Mm-hmm. Music 10. Freaking love it. Freaking bops. I enjoy the shit out of it. Good night, babe. And then you see her personality and you're like,
we learn too much about them as people. They need to stick to the music.
Do you follow Liz P. Woods on Instagram?
No.
She is my favorite. I love her so much. She lives in near New York City.
Okay.
Sorry, Liz. And she is like friends with the Toast people.
Okay.
And she is this Jewish queen. She's pregnant. I just love her. She shares pop culture stuff on her Instagram, but she consistently shares this meme that says, we all know too much about each other. And it's so accurate because she'll share I don't know, Kristen Chenoweth shares her sex life and then she'll post that pop culture thing and then she'll be like, we all know too much about each other, and then move
literally,
on.
yeah.
And so that's what's happening. Segue. That's what's happening with Zach Bryan.
Yeah, we know too much about him, and it's like, am I going to quit listening to his music? No, because I'm not that dedicated of a person. But I am bothered by his actions and finding out the true persons. And because, like, I've shit-talked Morgan Wallen before, right?
So
but,
true.
But hear me out. Morgan Wallen is kind of just, like, a belligerent, like, stupid drunk. Like, he threw a chair off of a balcony. Could that have decapitated someone? Yes. Like, there could have been consequences to his actions.
Was the chair made of, like, saws?
He was in a scary movie.
It was a chair of scalpels.
But, like, there's a difference between his actions and Zach Bryan. So
the noise you made was so crazy. You said, but
because Brianna Chicken Leg is literally accusing him of. It's not funny. I'm laughing at the chicken. I'm laughing at you laughing at the chicken leg.
You're committed.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's my favorite thing. So she is accusing him, and I know there's always two sides to the story, but who am I going to believe? The woman who is saying, oh God, who's trying to get in?
That's Fielding.
She's saying that he emotionally abused her, and she had exact examples of how he did. Like, she even showed her phone was cracked on the back, and it's because he would, like, grab it from her hand and throw it down. Honestly, guys, he's a horrible person.
No, I know, but he makes such beautiful music.
But someone that troubled can make beautiful music.
But, like, I mean, I guess Johnny Cash.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Johnny and June, that movie.
You know what?
It makes sense.
Let's remember Johnny.
Yeah.
Let's channel Johnny, because someday Zach Bryan, I think, will go down as, like, the Johnny Cash of our generation. Like,
yes,
he is a prolific songwriter.
And I think if he were to get mental help and therapy, I think this is me. What do they call that? Armchair diagnosing.
Oh,
I think he is a severe alcoholic
with
a lot of trauma, but he's also made excuses for himself. And it's like, at one point, like, buckle up, buttercup, like, do your shit, act like a man, go to therapy, get your shit fixed, and don't emotionally abuse someone. I mean,
no, for sure.
He isolated her for an entire year. Like, she was on tour with him.
I hate it.
The entire lore. Like, the thing is, I'm so deep in the lore, like, this interests me because, like, I've followed up with everything along this past year, and then now I see it coming to fruition, and, like, how he made her sign a $12 million, or he didn't make her.
He was trying
to get her to sign a $12 million NDA. $12 million.
Which is insane. And your sister texted us and was like, or you texted us first, and then we were talking about it, and I said I would have taken that money and run, but I was watching, again, Liz Wood's story about it, because she was like, yeah, $12 million is life-changing money, but, like, her, like, Brianna Chicken Leg has so much. See, isn't it funny when you say it? Brianna Chicken Leg has so much potential, like, earning potential, especially now.
Yeah.
She's got a really successful, oh my God,
podcast with
Barstool Sports. Yeah.
And so
Barstool Sports. You said Portnoy to mess me up.
I got you, girl. I got you to mess you up. Just kidding. No, I think the two women that he was, like, involved with before, at least two. I mean, the two serious ones.
He was married.
Yeah, to Rose. And I think, like, that was life-changing money to them, and they've never spoken on it, and I think they did sign an NDA, and, like, she is in a very privileged position where she doesn't have to worry about, she may not be making $12 million, but she's making good money.
Him over the coals, from what I've heard, and, like, good for her.
And guess what? They're going to be making money now, if she wasn't before.
Dave Portnoy and someone else that they work with.
In the BFFs podcast.
Made, like, a diss track to him for, like, a 5-minute diss track, and I'm like, damn.
I watched the entire thing. So it got scrubbed. Well, not scrubbed from the internet, but it got taken down because of copyright violations. Zach Bryan's team had it taken down, but it was still obviously on TikTok.
Yeah, I need to find that.
I've heard it's honestly dope. It's a masterpiece.
Beautiful. It's just, this is one of those moments, like, I hate to say it because I feel like people that say this are so hypocritical. Typically, we have to separate the art from the artist. I can't give up Hey Driver, The Good I'll Do, Something in the Orange.
I'm not going to give up his music.
But then you see, well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
but I'm also not going to excuse him as like the person he is. But
I'm not going to invite him over for dinner.
Yeah,
like I don't think that
I would never find him on like Raya, you know, because that's what he is
like
on.
Married. Like that's
but like theoretically, I'm just saying.
Yeah, you
like,
wouldn't date him.
Never.
Sure, but like how can this person that tweets such dumb shit and is such a terrible boyfriend and does this stupid stuff write this music? It is so insane. And he sounds so earnest when he sings. I think that's what's hard is like he, to me, just like he's so meaningful. I have a playlist on Spotify called Sad Cowboy Tunes.
Love it. Love it.
I have Sad Cowboy Tunes, emo girly tunes.
I'm just glad it's not on Pandora. So thank you.
I use Pandora.
My husband does too.
When I bought my new car today, when I test drove it last week, I asked about the connectivity because it's like Tesla where they have proprietary software. So it doesn't have Apple CarPlay, which is kind of crazy. But it's got its own software that is different. It's more adept to the car. I asked, it had Spotify, it had Apple Music, and I said, is there a Pandora login? And the guy that was test driving with us was like, Pandora is still a company. And I was like, first of all, bitch.
First of all,
I'm keeping it in business single-handedly. So yes,
you and Matt both are.
It is a thing. So anyways, I just shame.
So anyways, we can move on from, because we are not a pop culture podcast. Like we are not.
But we could be if y'all like that.
We can be anything you want us to be.
Oh God,
I only know things about country singers. That's the problem, though. That's all I know.
And I know nothing about them. I know nothing about anything. I'm just simply existing in the ether. We had some mom troms I feel like we should get into before
I think we should do mom troms, and then we should have our special guest come on.
Special guest. Okay, so mom trom. I feel like I literally just had one that I said I was going to talk about, and now I've forgotten it.
Was it my daughter? Was that a mom trom? Oh. An auntie trom.
It was, we'll call it an aunt trom. An aunt rant. I'm about to go on an aunt rant. So if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you saw the picture on Instagram, I'm wearing my natural hair today, which is
beautiful.
Oh my God. Thank you so much. I got some new curl cream. I'm trying things out. I'm trying to embrace my natural curls because they are crazy. And I do think it makes my hair look a little thicker. So, you know, my curly haired girls, get in there. Scrunch a little bit, you know?
Also, drop your routine. What do you do?
Please, because I need help. But my hair is naturally, I would say like medium curly. Like I don't have full ringlets, but it's pretty curly. Like it's not straight. And if it dries naturally with no product, like it's upsetting. You have to hide your children if you see it naturally if I sleep on it wet. So I went over to Courtney's house earlier to show them my new car. I'm sitting on the couch with Addie, and Courtney, Matt, and Connor had gone to like drive the car, whatever. And Addie, she was looking at my hair, and I said, "Do you like my curly hair?" And she said, "It's good." And I was like, "Oh, thanks." And she goes, "Does your brush not work or something?"
She's such a shit.
And I said, "No, my brush works fine. I just, this is just how God made my hair. This is just what my hair is like." And she goes, "Okay, well, it's just really tangled." And I said, "Yeah, that's just what it does." And she goes, "And you left it like that?"
Her questioning, though.
I said, "Yeah, I did." Sure did.
The questioning, I'm like, where do you get that from?
Did your brush not work was a crazy. I cackled out loud to her, and I think I startled her because she was like, "Okay." I'm like, "No, like, yeah, my brush works, bitch."
Like, no, literally.
Like, you're 5, so calm down.
Who are you to tell me
calm down
that my hair looks like it does? Like, who are you?
Yeah. This is how God designed me. So back off.
Honestly, it's a great lesson, though, because I would rather her say something to you than like at school. I don't think she would say anything at school, but still.
I mean, I'm so glad she feels comfortable enough with me to roast me to death. God.
My aunt rant, because I have
yes, you do have one.
It's not even March Aunt rant.
Your aunt rant is though like self-inflicted.
So mistakes might have been made on my behalf when I've had time to reflect. You know, I'm in therapy for reflecting. Just kidding. So I had a friend come over for a play day, and you guys came over too. And so like the kids were being so cute, and my friend's kid and then my 2 kids had like climbed up on the counter, and they're sitting there.
Well, and I was sitting on the counter. I sat on your counter on the opposite side of the kitchen first, and the kids were like, counters are sitting places.
Yes.
So Fielding was sitting with me. So then your friend Camille and her son Crew, who are so cute, I like really enjoyed meeting them, wanted to sit on the other counter. Crew wanted to sit on the other counter, and then of course Addie and Tucker also wanted to sit up there. Carry on.
So I was like, oh, you know what? This would be so cute. Let me get a little picture. So I'm like, Fielding, come here. So I carry him from the safe counter, kind of, with his mom,
safe as a counter
with his mom, to the opposite counter. And as I'm trying to take a picture, he reaches over, like he twists back behind him, and I have my knife block behind me that I forgot that I had. And he grabs 2 knives, and he's literally like about to like ninja.
And now I just want to recall this memory with you because I know sometimes your memory can be shaky.
What happened?
Do you remember that I said, Courtney? Because you didn't realize that he had knives.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And you were close to him, and I said, Courtney.
And I turned around.
And then you were like, holy shit.
Had 2 knives ready to battle.
And Camille responded to something on our Instagram, and she was like, my mom traumas Fielding being like Edward Scissorhands with 2 knives.
She called him Edward Scissorhands.
You're not wrong.
The buddy. Edward Scissorhands, I forgot about that. It's so funny.
I was like, damn, that's so true. So yeah, Fielding has grabbed plenty of knife in his day. The worst is still, and like, let me just PSA this for all you guys who have rambunctious children. I was unloading my dishwasher, and Connor had put a knife like in our silverware drawer, and we've got a 3-rack dishwasher. So we've got like a small, shallow rack on the top that's perfect for knives. And typically when your kids are younger, they can't reach. But Connor had put one of the knives in the silverware holder, and he was out of town. Fielding grabs this, butcher knife.
Oh, God.
I screamed because I was like, holy shit. Because I'm like turning sideways. I was unloading the dishwasher, so I was on the other side of it, whatever. I look up, he's got a butcher knife in his hand. And my mom's here also. We both scream. He thinks it's hilarious, takes off running with a knife, y'all. And I'm not talking like a little paring knife. I'm talking about the giant, biggest knife you have in your knife block, 7-inch knife.
Well, and I'm just imagining him running like with his little flopping hands.
I've never moved. I think I turned into the Flash for a second. I've never moved so quickly in my life. And I got that knife out of his hand like.
That's those instincts.
It was crazy because I was like, he's going to die.
Yeah.
And so it was really cool that you let him do that again.
He has to have these learning experiences.
And then, this is the best part. You didn't take the block away.
I just like put the knives back because I just assumed that he's like just not going to touch them again.
Pushed it further into the corner. And I was like, hey, so why don't we just like move the knives?
Let's not risk anything here.
Let's move the knives away from the kids. And then you were like, yeah, totally. And so I just like moved them to the other side of the kitchen. It was a good learning experience for all of us.
It was.
I just don't trust you around my kid with sharp objects. Like, it's no big deal.
You know,
you had another mom traum, though. What was it?
I can't remember my other mom traum that I had, but we had 2 write-ins.
Oh, yes, please.
So one of them, this is my favorite. So it says that her son has been exposed to every explicit word known to man. Whose hasn't?
Relatable.
And he realized that he can interchange the words shit and fuck, and then decides. So he really likes the movie Alvin and the Chipmunks, which is
I'm so sorry.
Funny. But he decided to call Alvin and the Chipmunks the fuck monks because he thinks it's shitmunks, and so he just interchanges those 2.
Alvin and the fuck months. That's what it will be referred to heretofore. Please don't come at me with Alvin and the Chipmunks. We know their real name.
And then this other one, she wrote in and she said she was at PetSmart getting cat food and she had both boys by herself. Godspeed, right there.
And her boys, she didn't put their ages, but one is barely older than Fielding.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I think he just turned 3 and one just turned a year old.
Oh, yeah.
Little. So a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old.
Going to the store, God bless you. Like,
couldn't be me.
Yeah.
Amazon everything. Starve. Before you take 2 boys to the store at that age.
Well, and she had just gotten them from school. And so basically, if you get your kids from school, they're just tired and grumpy and like
hungry.
They've held their emotions in all day. Their emotions are letting loose. So she has both kids in the basket trying to check out. And her oldest is throwing a tantrum because he wanted this big ass bone that looked like a candy cane. And her... They're at PetSmart. Like,
also, it's a dog bone.
Yeah, it's a dog bone.
I don't think you said it wasn't PetSmart. It's literally PetSmart. And he's like, I want that bone.
And like, leave it to a toddler to throw a fit over the most random shit.
Oh, for sure.
Her youngest is throwing a fit because he was just exhausted and wanted to be held. So she has 2 screaming kids in her cart, can barely hear the cashier lady, and her oldest is kicking and screaming now over the dog bone. she picks up her baby and he's just thrashing his body everywhere. Like he's far too gone to calm down. So she's just trying to get out of there at that point. Not only was she embarrassed, but the cashier had the audacity to say, "Long day.
Bitch.
Do you want to get slapped right now?
It's about to be a long night because you're about to be knocked out, motherfucker." At your point. No, don't. And I feel like the general consensus, because I always joke with people, like when feelings acting absolutely berserk, I'm like, kids, right? Toddlers.
Yeah,
if they don't make you want to die.
Trying to like
I try to mitigate the jokes. And I think that the general consensus, luckily, from what I have seen, especially from other women, is like, been there, girl. You know what I mean? Like I
just extending the understanding.
That olive branch, because I think I've had a lot of women, especially older women, that I feel like I would probably internalize them as judging me. They have been so comforting whenever like I joke with them, and like my mother-in-law really taught me this is like making fun of myself to people like about things I'm insecure about. I feel like that's a good tactic, but like it's kind of like owning your insecurities, right? So like if my kid's being crazy or my kid's doing this, it's like, well, it is what it is. Like it's just part of it, and I've gotten such a positive response from people to that, because I'm like they can realize what I'm going through and like relate to it, right? And I think that if I see someone, and I told this girl that wrote in, I was like, I feel for you so hard. Like that is thinking of having one child screaming in line to check out, like makes me start sweating. Two.
And you're just trying to get out. I would say we kind of I keep forgetting to say like a win for the week, but my win for the week ended up being, and this connects to the mom trauma, is I had to take both my kids to my dentist appointment.
This is such a good story.
And so it's really crazy. I'd never been to this dentist before. And so like all of the negative thoughts are coming in of like, oh my God, like they're going to kick me out. They're never going to ask me to come back. They're going to say something rude because I have both kids. I'm nervous they're going to fight. And I'm like front loading Addie the whole time. I can try to front load Tucker, but like I'm front loading Addie of, hey, like, please do not fight. Like, help me with your brother. Just like play and like stay calm, whatever. And I'm just like so nervous this whole time. And I have no one to watch them. So it's like, and I know there are other people who relate to this. It's like, you just take them. Like, you don't have an option. You just take them.
Yeah.
And so we get to the dentist's office, and like everyone in the front is like super nice. And I'm like, okay, maybe this is a trick. And then we get into the room, and they've already set out toys for them to play with. And I told the hygienist who I just met, I was like, thank you so much. And she said, we're all moms here. We get it.
Yep.
Don't worry about it. And I was like, are you sure?
Yep.
And even towards the end, like the kids were doing fine, but I think they were getting a little restless. And another hygienist came in, took them to a treasure box, came back. And it was the best experience I've ever had with other people, just like understanding, like, no, moms, not everyone has that privilege of like just being able to like drop your kids off wherever.
Right.
And if you do, like that's amazing. But like
but
you just got to take them.
Yep.
You got to take them to PetSmart. You got to go through the hard things.
But what a good like reminder, I think, of what we all should be as like, not to get so sentimental and philosophical. Yeah. What a good reminder, especially this week. Like it's election week. We haven't talked about that. And, like we're not really going to get into that, but like it's election week. Everyone's feeling a lot of feelings. And like what a good reminder that like, no matter what, we're all humans. We're all children of somebody. Some of us are parents.
Yeah.
And like, we're all going through this same common experience together. And it's hard sometimes. It is so hard. And if you just like can extend a little bit
ounce
of
grace
and understanding to other people, like the lengths that goes versus just being like so introspective and self-centered and narcissistic, like that is what I think we're kind of trained to be in some ways, and like in a self-promotional way. And it's so, if you can just step outside of yourself for just a second and realize how you can positively impact people by just like being a decent human.
Well, and I think
it's amazing.
We all need that reminder with this election that just happened. Like you said, like we're not going to get into, we're PC around here, gals, but
you'll never know. You never know.
I have seen some nasty ass posts, and it's like, we're all human here. We're all trying the best. We're as moms, as non-moms,
as people, as daughters, as humans.
Non-moms, as just people. Like we're all trying our freaking best, and like, why don't we just extend the same amount of grace that we would want extended to us, and like that amount of grace that was extended to me as simple as the dentist office, like that, like has ripple effects.
It's changed your week.
It changed my entire mood. It made me feel like I could conquer. Right after that, I took both the kids to the pediatrician's office, and then I went to TJ Maxx and then gymnastics because I felt like I could handle it because I had people who showed me that I could. Mm-hmm. And like I would have just went home after the pediatrician's office and called it a day. So like, guys,
Courtney,
what?
That's beautiful.
Oh, thanks. You're beautiful. Take it.
Thank you.
Take the compliment.
Thank you.
Okay, we need to have our special guest come on.
Okay. All right.
I'm so excited.
This is our first like real guest outside of our husbands. This is
I'm so excited.
My sister, my baby tiny sister. She's literally a year
tiny. Probably 3, 4, 5.
You're
6 inches taller.
A year. Yes, she is.
Don't remind us.
6 inches taller than me. And she's only a year younger than me. This is my sister Alyssa. Yay!
Hello.
So Alyssa came over tonight, her and her boyfriend, like impromptu, and I randomly was like, can you please be on the podcast today? Because Courtney and I knew we were recording. And fun fact about Alyssa, she is a labor and delivery nurse. So how long have you been a labor and delivery nurse?
3 years. And this was also completely dropped on me, so I need no judgment for any responses.
No, not at all.
It's going to be perfect. No. And she is.
Do you hear us talk every week? Like we talk nonsense. So
literally,
you're good.
I love it though.
So we wanted to ask Alyssa some questions because she has so much experience, and we like most of our audience is moms, right? And that's kind of a huge thing that we try to push is like just advocating for motherhood and like birthing and things like that. So we want to ask you some questions. And first, I do want to say that Courtney, when we were prepping some questions before, oh my God. We were prepping some questions before someone's trying to open the door. And
I didn't know like what direction we were going in as people who were going to be interviewing you.
And Courtney was like, so should we ask her like, what's the most traumatic case you've ever been on? And I literally go, Courtney, she is a nurse. Like she sees people die.
Yeah, like
and she was like, oh my God, she does. I'm like, no, like she works at a hospital.
And so I joked, I was like, oh, so this isn't a therapy session. Got it. Like we're just asking like advice that you would give moms. So we have some questions prepped for you, but we definitely had to go over those.
I definitely had to be like, hey, Courtney, can you not talk about like infant mortality?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got some questions more like in a preparation way for other people that like may be pregnant or like are planning to have kids in the future or even just like people that are interested. I never was interested in labor and delivery until I had a baby. And then I went through a phase for a second where I was like, I'm going to nursing school and I'm going to be a labor and delivery nurse. It's the coolest experience of life. So I'm going to basically give you the mic and chill. And Courtney's going to ask you the questions. That's what we're going to do. Okay.
We're going to try to chill.
We
get excited.
Good luck.
Okay, so what should a mom pack in their hospital bags? Because you see the other side of it where, sorry, I'm going to let you talk in a minute. But like these Pinterest list, or if you Google it, it's like, you need 35 brand new things to pack in your hospital bag. Bitch, no, you don't. No, you don't. So like what would you say like is the most helpful for moms?
I mean, if we're talking just for standard process, not extras, because, people can go all over with that. I mean, I think it's nice to have a little fan because that can be, labor is labor. It's called labor for a reason. It's very hard on you. And that's something that people don't realize. It's such a beautiful thing that people are like, oh, it's just going to be so beautiful and easy and baby's just going to slide right out. But it's hard and you never know what you're going to have to do. So I say a fan. That's always what I tell people. I always say your own like pillows just because our pillows are awful, awful, awful. Any hospital I've worked at, multiple hospitals, I traveled for a while, they all suck. All terrible. So pillows, maybe a blanket if you want. I also recommend a gown if you just like want something more comfortable. It's not necessary. We have gowns and we can change them out as frequently as you want. But if you get one that just unbuttons from the back while you're in labor, that's nice.
The Frida.
Not to interrupt you. Sorry, if you're watching this on YouTube, I look like a crazy person trying to like do this mic, but we couldn't figure out how to unscrew it.
You look great. It looks great.
I should have just unscrewed this mic and asked the husbands to help us, but I refused. I packed I put them on my registry for my baby shower, like gowns for the hospital. And I'm so grateful that I did that. And I did that because I went into the hospital.
You gave me one of them that you had left over.
Well, because I went into the hospital at 34 weeks because I had COVID and I had no gowns with me and I had to put on a hospital gown and I'm 5'3". It swallowed me. It was so uncomfortable.
To your feet.
To my feet, so uncomfy. My ass crack was out. So I like put like 4 on my baby registry and I got all of them. And I used every single one of them. I cannot recommend getting like an all cotton gown. It was so comfortable to labor in. It was so comfortable postpartum in. And I used them at home after I gave birth even still. But like I had one and I thought one would be plenty. Well, my water broke in it and I had to change. So a gown, chef's freaking kiss. Also, you said pillows. Towels, y'all.
Yeah.
The hospital towels are washcloths.
Yeah.
Bring your own towel.
Do you know what? My grandma actually went and got this for me after I had Addie, and it was toilet paper, Charmin toilet paper, because the hospital stuff was so horrible and so rough. And so, like, just a roll of toilet paper. Like, it's just like practical things. It's like you don't need a brand new bag to have a hospital bag in. Like you need gowns and a fan.
Well, and also even with like towels and stuff, that is nice, like comfort things, but we also provide those. So it's like they're not comfortable though.
Yeah. It's not a necessary need. Yeah. It's not an absolute need, but if you do want to be more comfortable and you have the means to do it, like bring yourself a towel from
wipes.
home.
Like you can always request wipes. We have a ton of wipes rather than like, yes, we have so many. I never use, like afterwards, I'm bringing you wipes. You're having wipes on everything. We're not using toilet paper. That's way too rough.
What about the moms? I think I tried to do this with Tucker and I brought like a little gift basket for the nurses. Like, is that necessary? Does that make you like us more?
No, I mean, okay, wait.
Damn it.
No, okay. No, I'm not saying it doesn't make it. Definitely, we are like, oh my gosh, she's so cute. She has a basket for everybody. You know, it's very like sweet. Oh, she's so thankful. She's so nice. You know, there's a lot of people who would be like, oh, if you come in our room, like take a snack. And everyone's like, no, it's really okay. It's fine. But it's very considerate. And honestly, we really do appreciate anything. Even if it's like, some people will put a couple energy drinks or a couple bags of snacks or some gum or like random things. Love it. Not expected, and we're gonna give you the same care, but but we are always like coming out to this.
If you don't bring gifts, you're delivering your baby in the parking lot, bitch.
No, but when you do bring gifts, we are like, oh, how cute. Like it just feels like you really care because you can. Oh my God. Oh, we have a child over the top of the wall.
So,
oh my God.
You can't see this even if you're on YouTube because my angle doesn't cover it. But I have like I've mentioned it before. I have French doors in my bedroom, but I have a cutout above my bedroom that like is completely open and has no glass. And my child is about to climb over the top of it because everyone else has also had glasses of wine. So, anyways, okay. Next question, Court.
Yes, yeah. Okay, I got you.
No, don't apologize. My kid is the one ruining it.
Worth it.
What is the worst thing a patient can do when they're going into labor or like while they're at the hospital? Like you came up with this one. Like what's the worst thing they can do?
As a nurse, whenever you're seeing a patient and you're like, shit, they did this. Like what is the thing you dread as a nurse that you think maybe like would make it harder for you to do your job or them to deliver?
Oh, that is really tough.
Do you feel like you're in a job interview?
Well, these are like really hard. Not the questions I thought y'all were coming at me with.
Sorry, we're deep thinkers.
No, that's okay. I wouldn't say, to be honest, I don't think that there's something specific that anyone does. I would say it's more like communication. Like when I'm talking to you, I just need you to be clear with me on what you need.
That's good.
Because there's only so much I can do for you. If you're uncomfortable and you're kind of making faces or doing something, I'm giving you options and you're just like looking at me. I'm like.
So you're saying like it's okay to be direct. Nice.
You can be like, hey, this is what I need. Or even with patients, I'll be something simple as like pain management. I'll be straightforward. Like, what is your plan? And what do you want me to ask you? Like, if your plan is no epidural, I won't talk about it again. And we will talk about all the alternatives and everything I can do to make you comfortable without that.
Yep.
But if your plan is an epidural, then I know that you tell me my pain's increasing and I need this and I need you to do this or this isn't working. Then I'm like,
so
change
just
that. You know? I don't know. That's just one example.
No, I love that.
That is such a good answer. And like, to just make it concise, communicate.
Yeah. Well, and we have talked about that before with when we talked about our birth stories is advocate. As a patient, advocate for yourself because guess what? You're hearing it firsthand. The nurses want you to advocate for yourself because that helps them help you.
Right. And you advocating for yourself helps me advocate for you. Like you don't, in your birth plan, you say you don't want Pitocin or you don't want this or you don't want an epidural. Well, then I can communicate to the doctor. But if you never communicate that to me, then you're just irritated with everyone in the situation because I can't hop in the middle of something and be like, we can't,
sure.
I don't know. It's hard. I would say the only thing that I don't think we ever say anything about moms or anything that they do. If anything, it'll be like more judgmental towards the dads. We're like, well, why are they not helping? What are they?
Okay, so
valid.
Let's talk about that.
I would say that's the only thing because I'm like, typically in labor, I tell my patients even all the time, I'm like, you're in pain. I don't judge you for anything you say in pain. Like you're going through it. Like you're doing your thing. I'm here to assist you.
What is the best way for a dad to interact and what is what gives you the ick in the delivery room?
We might have enough time for that. I might need some friends here for that one. But I'll say that we'll start with the good things. I mean, I love when someone's attentive. Like everyone wants different things. You're not a type of person that wants a coddly, feely person. So you're probably not wanting Connor on your back.
But I will say, like in delivery and like I'd talk about how much I love Connor all the time. Sorry for everyone to be annoying. He was like giving me water the whole time, like putting my water bottle to my mouth to let me drink. He was putting my hair back up whenever it would fall down. He was like picking my hair. I was like, Connor, I'm going to throw up. He put a puke bag under me. Like he was so in it. I mean, Connor, I think cried the entire time I was in labor because he was like I think he slept less than me. He was in that shit. And I'm sure the nurses were like, this guy's a rock star.
Yes, absolutely. That's what I was going to say. Attentiveness is probably the number one thing. Like whatever they need ice, they need water. They need you to put pressure on their lower back. They need you to fix their hair and throw it in a
Matt
bunny.
was like, nurse, she needs water, stat. I'm like, okay, we're not in Grey's Anatomy right now, but I respect it. Thank you. Like he was advocating for me when I couldn't advocate for myself.
Absolutely. I love that. Them just being aware of what you need because sometimes we all have different personalities and you can't really, the same way with friends, sometimes you click more with your patients and I'm like, I know what you need. But then sometimes I'm like, okay, you're a little bit more of a mystery. What do you need? What do you want from me? And so I'm like, I need your husband or partner or significant other to tell me she needs this or like, this is her uncomfy face or this is her, I'm about to lose my shit face, like, I don't know, I'm allowed to cuss, but.
Oh yeah.
You're so beyond allowed to cuss. It's crazy. it's crazy.
But yeah, that's basically it. I would say that's the best thing that we expect in a person. Someone who's just like sleeping, snoozing on the couch the whole time.
I can't even imagine.
I'm like, I don't know if you'd call that an ick, but I think it's just super disrespectful.
I call it a fucking ick.
Yeah.
If you're sleeping on the couch while your wife is in labor,
the way I would die. People really do that.
Yes. Oh my gosh, people would be playing video games just sitting there.
How dare you? I feel personally attacked and my husband was like, amazing drink.
Right. So
I got the chills. I got the literal chills.
That's the literal ick.
So that's what I'm saying whenever I'm
playing video games.
Those are the things we would talk about. I'm not going to talk about you being like, I'm hurting. I'm not going to be like, oh, what's just hurting? I'm going to be like, yeah, she's having a baby, so she's hurting.
Here's the thing. I'm going to say something controversial because God forbid your significant other wasn't their best in the delivery room, but I think that it's that primal instinct that comes out. Like when we're having a baby, our primal instinct comes out. Well, theirs does too. And if your significant other is going to sit there while you're in labor and in pain and having your child,
otherwise known as a baby back bitch,
they're playing a video game, that is a true reflection of them and the kind of dad they're going to be. Yeah. So, you know what? File those divorce papers right there.
Rip to your marriage.
Going in strong. No counseling. Done.
You're done.
Sign the paper.
I mean, honestly, like if Connor had not been supportive, rip. Now, as your sister, how tired are you of hearing that I broke my tailbone during birth?
I'm not tired of hearing it, but it's...
Likely story.
No, I'm not. But it's something as a labor and delivery nurse, I want to hear everybody's birth stories. I do. But sometimes you get a little too much of it outside that you're like, okay.
And the thing about me is, if you get one glass of wine in me, I'm gonna tell you I broke my tailbone during birth. Like, I'm a recount labor to delivery every time, and I'm sorry,
but I do love it. I love hearing it. I mean, I literally love labor and delivery. I love all aspects of it. So I love talking about it. I love talking about yours. Y'all have totally different stories, so it's fun. Every single person has a completely different story. No matter if you have a smooth, effortless delivery or a very difficult delivery, you're bringing life into the world.
Are you more nervous to give birth because you're a labor and delivery nurse?
Ooh, good one. Good one.
That's hard. We actually, as labor nurses, talk about that frequently because I'll ask my coworkers if they were labor nurses before or after they delivered. And obviously, I do not have kids yet. I think that I don't know what to expect. I think it's good to be aware because I won't freak out about the little things. But I also don't know if I'll be a little more paranoid just because I know of all the crazy situations that I've seen in situations where they had no signs that it could be crazy. But then there's also such thing as we all say there's a nurse curse. We joke about that. Not like a real whatever, but that we all have the worst labor and delivery stories if you're a labor and delivery nurse.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like you are expecting everything, but you also have no idea what to expect because it's yourself and you're the one going through the pain. I'm not the calm, collected one that's like, breathe, you got this. Like, I'm here for you. I'm the one that's like, holy shit, I'm having a kid.
There's our episode name, The Nurse Curse. Because at the beginning, we were saying it was the cursed episode.
Yes! I will say, like, I don't want any more children. Nothing makes me want to have another baby. Like, the fact that you could deliver my baby or, like, be in the room. Like, that... Like, talk to Connor because although I didn't mention it, this is my other mom trauma of this week. Fielding was awake from 1:45 to 5 a.m. last night.
That is a mom trauma.
I am not well as a human. And I told Connor at 5 a.m. today when Fielding tried to tickle me awake. Fielding snuck into the bedroom and I woke up to Fielding going, shh, shh, shh. And Connor saying, don't. And then Fielding started going, tick, because he was trying to tickle me. I told Connor at that moment, other children are off the table. We are done. I will not go through this again. I cannot live a life where I'm awake this many hours in the night again. I will die. But one thing that keeps me like even slightly entertaining that idea is thinking about like you being in the room and our other sister Haley.
I was literally about to say Haley went off of her orientation this week. And so she's a real whole nurse now.
Oh my God, that's
Haley's
amazing.
Our real baby sister. I joke that Alyssa's my baby sister because we're seriously like 14 months apart. But you still feel like a baby sister to me. Like, I don't know why. It just has always felt that way. Like, because we met, I was 8, you were 6. So it's just like we've been together our whole lives.
You mean you're not like 21? You seem so much younger than us.
Literally.
She's so youthful. You're so youthful.
Haley was
offended.
Haley was, that's really what it is. They really drained the life out of you. But Haley was 2 when I met her. So I'm 6 years older than Haley. So she is the baby. And so the fact that she has like graduated college and has a real job and is like helping people deliver babies, like that's our little like
Well, and the fact that both of you guys went and did that. Like, that's amazing.
I need to make it like 3. Like, I just need to go back to nursing school.
I thought it was going to be because after she had her first kid, you keep saying that, but I was like 99% convinced that you were going to come back and be a labor and delivery nurse. Like, I really thought that you were going to think about it.
Maybe that's your true calling.
You never know.
You never know.
Like, mommy's had a lot of careers.
What about you, Courtney? Come on.
No, one thing I did look into before is being a doula. I looked into being a doula for your birth because I was just curious. It's not that expensive. I have a friend who is a doula, and she really enjoys it. And I think I would enjoy coaching.
But now
people, but I don't want the medical side of it.
I'd love to hear.
I want to coach.
What's no. What's Alyssa's take on doulas?
Ooh. Oh!
Sorry, I said no controversial questions. How do you feel? Have you had good experiences with doulas?
Yes. There are some great doulas.
It was our consensus.
No more.
Well, it's just really hard because I feel like I don't think labor nurses get as much of the credit for being an advocate for you. And everyone always thinks that it's the doula that's like pro you. But we have to be the ones that are like in charge of the situation. And responsible for any circumstances that are to come, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that is such a great point to make, not to interrupt you,
No,
because
absolutely.
I think it is a common misconception that even I had until you literally just saying it now. The way I see labor and delivery nurses is like, you guys work for the hospital and for the doctor. So like you're going to do kind of like what is like mandated like by the state, but it's like, no, like you guys are actually literally advocating for the patient.
My last nurse who
That's amazing
loved,
to know.
Yeah,
yes.
no, truly.
My last nurse who got there at a shift change. So like I labored all night with Fielding. In the morning, there was a shift change at 7. I had Fielding at 8:13 or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. That last nurse was advocating for me so hard. And I'm pretty sure she told the doctor to like fuck off and get in there. Like she was so on top of things.
I still remember my nurse from Addie.
Yes. It's like when you have a good nurse, it is a life-changing. And like I will never forget Jessie. Jessie was her name at St. Luke's in the Woodlands.
Shout out to Jessie.
Hey girl, hope you're doing good.
To say that.
Hope you're doing good, girl. No, she like changed the game because when she came in, she was like, "No, bitch, we're having this baby right now." Because like I labored all night. I had a nurse who was new from like Washington. No shade, but like she was very
shade.
She was a hippie. She's like, we're gonna labor down. Like my water's breaking. My vagina is like a 20 centimeters dilated. And I was like, girl, this baby's coming out of me. I know 20 is not a real measurement. I'm just messing. But I was like fully dilated. She's like, just relax.
It's like hanging out.
No, literally. No, Alyssa, literally. I was like, Connor, you need to call the nurse. Like, things are not like I'm progressing. I can feel something happening. There's a door opening somewhere to a secret Pandora's box. And she came in there and checked me. She goes, last time she checked me, I was a 4. She texted me, oh my gosh, you're a 7. I'm like, yeah, bitch. 3 more centimeters.
I remember with Addie, I might have told this during my birth story. I don't remember, but I remember being at like a 5, and I'm telling the nurse, and I'm like, no, you need to check me right now. I'm about to have this baby, and she was so sweet, but she was like, no, like it's only been like 45 minutes, 30 minutes.
Get in there.
And then I was like, no, you need to check me, and I did advocate for myself, and I was already at a 9. And she's like, all right, let's get into position. So it's like, you know your body. Like, it's crazy.
I tell my patients that all the time. That's my number one thing. I'm like, I can give you these like parameters. Like if you're feeling constant pressure or if you feel this or you feel that, let me know.
Yeah.
But otherwise I'm like, if something feels different, this is your body. You know your body better than me. So you tell me.
Go with your instincts.
I say that every time. That's like my go-to. You know your body better than me.
Don't you want to have another baby? Because she would be like such a good nurse.
Except for the fact that like, number one, I don't know if I could handle a 3rd, and also I couldn't afford a 3rd. But like
number 3, imagine a vasectomy.
That too. But like if I could go through Addie's birth again, I would. Like, I would do it with you.
Can you imagine Alyssa being your nurse? Like,
yeah.
I can't imagine Alyssa being my nurse in my delivery because people had way more traumatic deliveries. My delivery was traumatizing for me, and if I had had a nurse from the beginning that I think had advocated for me and made me feel comfortable and like heard, I think it would have been a very different experience.
That's me too, because remember my first nurse was like honestly really shitty, and
and that changes things totally because you barely see your freaking doctor.
And it was different too because like her and I could just feel like she would try to make small talk. Like it's not like she was like rude or anything. I just didn't connect with her, and it wasn't until my night nurses came in and she was like, "Oh, we need to like turn you and like do all of these things."
I love to hear that. I love to hear that about you saying that about night nurses because I feel like anytime you are on nights, you get kind of...
No, they were the best. Yeah. The night nurses were the best
Can't relate. My night nurse was the absolute worst. Shout out to you. I don't even remember your name. You were the worst.
Well, I will say too, though, is I always say this about anything. I mean, there are good and bad nurses. There are good and bad teachers. There are good and bad people. So
there's good and bad like police officers. Like,
so that's what I always say too, is that I'm not even saying y'all. I'm just saying people's experience with certain nurses or certain hospitals even, because someone will be like, oh, this is a terrible hospital. And I'm like, every hospital has terrible nurses. I mean, they do. Yeah. So I'm not saying that they're unsafe. Well, I maybe shouldn't say they have terrible nurses. No, nurse is terrible, but
it's like with teaching, we know there are terrible teachers out there.
There are terrible teachers, and if you're listening and you're one of them, quit.
Get out of the
profession. Go sell insurance.
That's the thing. It's like it's people with less passion in your job. Like, if you have passion, then you're gonna give good care.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
I literally love my job more than anything. So it's like, I want to make a connection with you. Sometimes you don't make a connection with your patients, and it can be the same as a patient wanting to connect with the nurse, but it's like, sometimes it's not there, but you want it, you know? So that's my little tip.
Well, no, I love that.
Do you
Thank
have
so
any
much.
parting words for our listeners that may be expecting moms or maybe trying to conceive or maybe wanting to give birth in the near future? Like, what would be like your final piece of advice? Sorry to put you on the spot.
No. I mean, I think labor and delivery is a beautiful thing. I think bringing babies in this world is beautiful. It's all worth it. I think sometimes I tell my patients that I just had a patient literally last night. I had a patient we pushed for hours, and she was like totally wanting to give up. But afterwards, it's just that beautiful moment. As soon as you meet your baby, it's worth it. It's all worth it. You can do it. You're a strong, independent woman. You can do it. I love it. That's my parting words.
I love
it. You got this.
Amen. And truly, like, I thought it was such bullshit when people would be like, the minute you see your baby, it is so worth it that you rip in half. And truly, I have pictures that a nurse took for me, Jessie, who I mentioned earlier, when she took these pictures for me, and I like couldn't even make tears come out of my eyes because I was so just depleted from life. But like, I was so overcome, and like, these pictures still make me cry now when I look at them, because it was just like this moment where I saw this person that I grew this person from scratch, and like nothing. If you can't be a mom or you don't want to be a mom, that's also okay.
Disclaimer.
Yes.
Like, it's for everybody. It's beautiful for if you want it.
I think you can find this joy in other places too, but there was nothing that nothing could have ever prepared me for how I'd feel with seeing my son for the first time. And and I love him more and more like as he's grown, but like, it is such an indescribable feeling to see a person that is half you and half your spouse. Like, it's so beautiful.
Imagine seeing that moment as your job. That's what gets me every time. That's what makes
Do you cry every delivery?
Very frequently. Okay, people tell you get jaded or that it's not exciting every time, but when I have a connection with my patient, when we have our moments and I get to labor you for a while, I love seeing beginning to an end. I am definitely going to get emotional. I'm not going to be boo-hooing in the corner, but I am definitely going to be like, stop, they're beautiful. Like, you know, that's why it's the most rewarding job ever.
Well, and I know you guys have shift work, but it was interesting to me because my doctor that I had for Tucker's delivery was not on call, but she got called in because I was like in so much distress, and she ended up staying like the entire way through. The doctor did. And I just thought that was interesting because she told me, she was like, I'm not, like, I should be off call right now. I'm not leaving. Like, this is like, she was so invested in it and like making sure like he was okay, and like he was, you know? And so it's just
huge
so,
for a doctor.
And it felt just like, you know, wholesome to me because I was able to trust her a little bit more because she's the one that had me. I think she felt guilty because she had me go in early. She was like, oh, you'll be fine. Like, go ahead and induce. So I went in and I was induced, and then it was like a disaster. And I think she felt responsible for that. So like, I just love that she wanted to stay until the end. And so I know, like, I'm sure it's, you know, as a nurse as well, it's like getting to see that from beginning to end is amazing.
I will say that any nurse, doctor, any medical professional, anyone in the hospital that stays after their shift for you to deliver, they love and care about you, and they truly want to see it to the end.
That's so sweet.
Because I mean, everyone in the hospital works long shifts. I mean, by the end of the 12 hours, I'm like, somebody take a report on my patient, I gotta go. So when I've definitely stayed multiple times for people when it's close. And when they do, I mean, even if it's 30 minutes, to me, 30 minutes is a lot. So I'm like, that, it speaks volumes. So if a doctor did that for you, that's huge. Like, she truly cared, honestly.
That makes me feel good,
Really. So,
well, we're appreciative.
Write her a thank you card, please, right now.
2 years later.
Right now, Tucker's too. Thanks for staying. Goodbye.
We're very appreciative for the work you do. Thank you for podcasting and being our first guest. It was so exciting.
It was so exciting. And sorry, my microphone keeps squeaking. If you're listening to this on audio and you keep getting squeaks, I sincerely apologize.
We don't have a mouse.
It's
need
just
help. The microphone.
And I'm so proud of you, and I love you so much.
And I love y'all, and I appreciate y'all continuing to have babies. Yes. Let's have another.
No,
please,
okay.
please.
Connor, that's on you. But anyways, okay, we're done. We're letting you free. Our podcast listeners, we love you.
We got to do our classic.
Classic. Cheers to that. Yay! Okay, bye guys.
Bye.
See you next week. Mwah.